Hello and welcome to NURS 2701, about the course. I thought this would be helpful to give you all of these PowerPoints to give you a bit of information about this course since this week will be very busy. The course objectives include develop an understanding of theoretical foundations for providing safe, competent, and ethical care for individuals dealing with acute and long-term health challenges during life transitions. Plan caring and health activities frequently required for individuals during selected health challenges. Describe the role of the nurse in health promotion and health education. Critically evaluate situations that illustrate theory and practice as they relate to the care of individuals with selected health challenges. Apply clinical decision-making skills in complex situations. Demonstrate knowledge, skills, and judgment in providing safe, competent, and ethical care for two or more clients that meets the current standards of practice as outlined by the College of Nurses of Ontario. So basically, you're going to be required to learn about or draw upon your knowledge of different medical surgical diagnoses, and that when you're looking at the different diagnoses, that would include their labs, their diagnostics, and medications, and that would really you need to have a strong knowledge of your anatomy and physiology as well. Topics covered this semester will include pain, hemodynamics, ventilation, mobility and perception, surgery, urology, genitourinary, endocrine disorders, and emergency situations. The textbooks that you'll require is the Lewis MedSurg textbook. Now that can be the online version or the big hard textbook that weighs a ton, as well as the HESI case studies. Now I have to say we use the HESI case studies in Adult Health Challenges a little different than you did in the Matt Child, in that we generally do the HESI case studies in class as a group or in smaller groups within the classroom setting. Although you'll find those HESI case studies are helpful for studying purposes. You'll also need a current lab and diagnostics manual, and that could be an electronic resource or a hardcover, as well as a drug guide. And there'll be other additional readings throughout the course. So evaluations, I just wanted to highlight that there are, because this course is a combined course, so a theory and a practicum course worth 6 credits, there are a lot, there seems to be more evaluation components to it. So for our the theory course, there will be a midterm week 5, and that's worth 35% of your grade, and that will be, I believe that's 75 multiple choice questions, and that will be written in class. There will be a group project, and that will be due week 8. There'll be a group presentation, and that will be the app project, where you will select 4 of your colleagues to be working your group, and so it will be around group process and who assumed to be the leader, and who did the secretarial work, and who got the group together, and how did you all get the group together to do the final presentation. So it'll be around the group process piece, but also around the app. And this app you will look at in terms of critiquing the feasibility, the usability, the cost, anything like that. You're going to examine that for usability for the Year 2 Adult Health Challenges. So is that an app that we should look at having already preloaded on our iPad? So what you will do the research with your group, then you come and you present, you'll have 10 minutes to present it to the class, and then as a class we will vote as to whether that app should be included on the iPad or not. There is also 5% of your grade will be for participation in class activities with a reflective note. And so really I encourage in-class activities and participation, because that's how you're going to become familiar with the content. For you to read and try to memorize, that won't be as beneficial to you as if you engage in the content and really get familiar with it. And so this in-class reflection, so what happens is that you will come to class and engage in whatever the weekly topic is, and so you'll participate in that class, and then at the end of that class sometime before the next class, so our class is Friday afternoon, so up to Thursday at midnight, if you could write a short reflection about some of the key pieces that you learned in that class, and this is truly reflection. It has to be sentence structure and paragraphs, a couple of paragraphs only, so paragraph form. But I don't really mind if there's no references or API. I just want you to actually take the content and say, I learned about the concepts around pain today, and that will be really important in my practice. Next time I go to clinical, I'll be sure to do a more thorough assessment using the PQRST format. So just what you learned from that class, what you'll do differently in the next classes. And so you need to do those reflections for to a maximum of 5. Although more is better. And the theory behind that is that you will sit and think about what was in class as opposed to letting it just sort of drift away. You'll purposely think about that class, and that will help to pin that in your memory. And so there is theoretical concepts around that to help you retain that information. So that participation mark is 5%. You have to submit all 5 reflections to get the 5%. Final exam is worth 40%, and that will be written in the exam week, and that's 100 multiple choice questions. There's 3 reflective critical analyses that will be handed into your clinical instructor throughout the course, and we'll discuss the dates in an orientation. There's 1 aesthetic submission. So that aesthetic submission is usually submitted the last week of clinical, and that's really what you bring to the profession. And I'm always so amazed about what the students will be bringing to the profession. Whether that is, I've seen where people have a musical ability, and so they'll sing something and record it, or they'll I've saw somebody made an album cover or a CD cover, and so whatever your gifts are, whatever your art is, bring that to clinical, and your clinical instructors will discuss that with you. So that will be your submitted the final week of clinical. There will be a math assessment as per every going forward to every clinical. So you would do a math assessment the final week of practicum of the theory course. And you can use your calculator. The reflective practice progress reports will be due after clinical, and we'll go over those in orientation. And the practicum competencies are on the practicum evaluation, and we'll go over that in orientation. Code of conduct. So I just have to talk a little bit about this. I don't like to, but I think if everybody's under the same impression, that it makes classroom a little bit nicer. So just wanted to know that whatever the expectations are in clinical for professional comportment are the same in class. So we really embrace that caring philosophy, and we are trying to support one another through the class. And so some of those things are like one voice at a time talking, because if everyone's talking, it's really hard for people to hear one another. So really just to behave in a respectful manner to one another, and just be very mindful of what everyone's learning needs are. If there's the other thing I just wanted to mention is around academic integrity. And so academic integrity can take many different faces. Plagiarizing someone's paper, it can be giving your paper to somebody else to have a look at, and they use some of your ideas. It's discussing the test that you just have written, and remember that you signed confidentiality waivers, so that precludes you from discussing anything outside the exam room. Submitting your own work for a current RCA, so resubmitting your work. So that means if you had submitted a work from last semester, an RCA or a PPR, and you resubmitted this semester as current work, that would be considered self-plagiarizing. If you're repeating the course and you use your work from last time, which I'm sure we'd all have a tendency to want to do, that also is considered plagiarism. So just being very mindful of code of conduct. No Twitter or Facebook or anything like that. So we just want to be very mindful of how we're using social media. I understand the students have a Facebook page. Please be careful what goes on that, because if there is something that is untoward, and that has to come down, or there's other implications. If your name's attached to it, whether it's positive or negative, your name is put in with all of the rest of the students. And so I just wanted to highlight that. We've had clinical placements canceled as a result of the agencies actually checking Facebook and other social media. And so there's a growing trend for clinical agencies to review all students who are assigned to them in terms of their behavior on social media. It's very imperative that students appreciate that professional conduct is expected to take place from the very first day a student is enrolled in the BSEN program. No reference should be made to clinical practicum sites or areas of practicum on Twitter, Facebook, or practicum, because practicum placements have the right to determine if they would like to invite a student to complete at their placement site, or they can actually cancel our entire practicum. So we have to be very mindful of that. There's an urgent communication of an expectation that all students immediately clean up their social networking sites, remove any references to their placements of any kind of nursing they've been involved in or will be involved in, and you can't put any of that in the future. There is no question that the students have freedom to speech, but we have to be very mindful of the balance by the practicum placement agencies with the freedom to select whom they are allowed to undertake learning experiences. So they could actually decline you from attending that clinical. Classroom expectations that you come prepared and just doing the readings that are assigned, and that way you've actually prepared for clinical as well. You want to participate and engage in the clinical content. If we could just have one voice talking at a time, because each person has so much to contribute to the class discussions, and so we really want to hear each one's voice. As a courtesy, let the professor know if you're not attending class. So just fire me off an email just to say I've got the flu and I won't be able to come to class today. And please make sure that you make an appointment with me if you have any concerns. It's far easier to deal with them early, so make an appointment to see me. I'm very flexible. I do it face-to-face, online, Skype, teleconference, whatever it is, so that and also I have quite a lot of availability, because nursing is 24/7, and I quite understand that. So if you're busy in clinical all day and you don't get home until late and then you need to talk to somebody, I can make an evening appointment or a weekend appointment. So please feel free to make those appointments with me. And it's easier for me to deal with those situations early. So don't wait to put the evaluation to say the classroom was cold, or I talked too much, or I talked too little, or don't wait till the end of the semester to do that. Tell me in advance so that we can really make this a positive learning environment for everyone. I welcome an appointment to find out how you learn, what do you see as your challenges, and how can I assist you. I also want to know, what are your hopes and dreams, and where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? So if you can email me at leslie.graham@durhamcollege.ca. I only have that account. I do not have a Blackboard account or a UIT account. And I'm available. I always have my BlackBerry with me. So please don't hesitate to contact me, even, as I said, just to get to know you. So leslie.graham@durhamcollege.ca. And I welcome that appointment.